We ride together.
We die together.
And marriage for life.
That's terrible.
It's the truth.
It's the truth.
After listening to hours upon hours of interviews given by Jada and Will Smith over the years, I think I have found something very subtle and nefarious that might be the reason why these two, for all they are trying, just can't seem to catch a break. From the moment I began listening to Will and Jada's interviews, I knew there was something very disturbing and yet oddly familiar about how they were talking. It was something about the vocabulary and phrasing that was giving me mild PTSD. It took some time, but my mind finally made the connection between their strange way of talking and my self-therapy/personal development obsession era. When Will and Jada speak about their incredibly messy lives, they talk about it with a certain level of detachment, some optimism that is the work of an incredibly talented self-help guru. They talk about their problems, not as real problems, but as stepping stones on their journey to nowhere in particular. They romanticize dysfunction into something marketable. They have such clarity over their problems, such excellently vivid understanding of their symptoms, and yet, at the crucial moment of diagnosis, they totally miss it, and so they are locked in this perpetual hamster wheel of messiness. They know their issues, but they can't solve it. As someone who has consumed mountains of self-help content as books, podcasts, quotes, and YouTube videos, I have empathy and compassion for the Smiths because in my own small way, I can relate to the big promises of the industry that have remained undelivered. By their own admission, Will and Jada not only consume self-help media, especially books, but they have also worked with a ton of self-help professionals from therapists, coaches, shamans, and so on. Unfortunately for them, as I will illustrate in this video, all this has done is to help them better describe their issues, but not really find any lasting solutions. My problem with the self-help industry, the new age law of attraction type thing and pop psychology, even therapy today, my problem with all this is that even though it may work for that 1 in a million, most of it actually doesn't work for the vast majority of people, especially those with considerable trauma and issues. At the end of this video, I will talk about what actually worked for me and how I have seen it work in the lives of countless other people.
I came as family. I actually didn't go to the Oscars as Will's wife. Going on behind the scenes, Will and I had been set like we weren't living as husband and wife since 2016.
Before we get into the many problems of the Smiths, please subscribe to this channel, and if you haven't already, leave a like for this video. To understand Jada and Will Smith's present, we have to start at the beginning. Jada's new book is called Unworthy, a journey from unlovable to lovable. During the press tour for her book, Jada explains that she has always felt unworthy of love from a very young age. I'm not sharing these details to justify anything or to justify her, but just to lay a foundation for the premise of what we are going to talk about. I think we can all agree that hurt people, and that is very real in this case. Jada's mom had her when she was a drug-addicted teenager. Her father, who was also a young addict, was physically abusive to her mother. One day, he told his 7-year-old daughter, Jada, that he couldn't be her father anymore and didn't even try after that. It wasn't until after she was rich and famous that he came looking for her. Jada grew up in a part of Baltimore that was riddled with gang violence, drug abuse, dysfunctional families, and abusive men. She grew up with intense self-hatred and deep feelings of unworthiness. She said that she thought that all her problems would go away when she made enough money. Unfortunately, becoming rich and famous and even getting married and having children did not cure her. This and Will's own mental health struggles set the stage for a volatile marriage. Both she and Will were two broken people looking to the other to make them happy. She began contemplating offing herself. Whenever she tried to talk to people about how acutely unhappy she was, they would point to her successful career and family in trying to show her that she had no reason to be unhappy. This only made her feel more shame and self-loathing. Will was going through his own existential crisis at the time. They had an on-again, off-again relationship through their marriage. The biggest break that they have happened in 2016 up to now. However, they both maintain that they are still married and they are still trying to work it out, even though they've been separated since 2016. Listening to the life of Jada and Will from their own mouths, I realized that they have spent a ridiculous budget on therapy, counseling, alternative healing, and even new age gurus and methods, yet they seem to only be getting deeper and deeper into a black hole of despair. Nobody can blame them for not trying to fix their life. So what's the problem? Why can't they just change? A teacher of mine liked to say that you cannot fatten a lizard to become a crocodile, and neither can you starve a crocodile to become a lizard. You can guess I'm African, eh? Will and Jada are like lizards, and all their life coaches and gurus and shamans and therapists are feeding them copious amounts of information and techniques in hopes of fattening them up enough to become crocodiles. The problem is at the DNA level. They simply cannot change. They are who they are, and they are locked in a cycle of dysfunction, repair, and dysfunction again. They need a whole new identity, and I am not ashamed to say this. Only Jesus can give someone a new identity. We are not able to just do the right thing because we understand ourselves. We need to become totally new. We need freedom. We need that capability to actually resist temptation. It's not innate. When we have a relationship with Jesus, He makes us new. He gives us the capacity on a DNA level to do what we know to be right. Another thing is that Jada is right. We are all unlovable, but God still loves us deeply, and that makes us lovable. To learn more about how to achieve lasting change in your own life, please, there are 2 videos I'm going to link in the description by the late Tim Keller. He does a great job at explaining the link between identity and behavioral change. They will really help you. Don't be like Jada and Will. Don't go round and round, running away from your problems, using self-help and personal development, when all the while what you need is Jesus.